You can always add more to a
My
painting,
Caesars.
but you need to realize that the painting's already been done.
Like, at what day and moment was I just like, I'm not doing this anymore?
Right.
I wish I could go back and kick that son of a bitch in the dick.
Whatever somebody's going through, like even the little things are things that like progressively get bigger. Like there's ways around it. There's ways to like go through it. There really is.
Everything has a consequence. Everything changes with every decision that you make.
This is me versus me.
I was trying to figure it out all day today, and that's who's coming in Wednesday.
Oh.
Zach.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Do you still feel the same way as you did when you made that comment?
Which one?
There's ways to handle things?
Yeah, there is. I can literally have a tattoo that says 1 day at a time.
Oh, fuck.
Just-
There. You don't
right
have
on
a
my-
choice.
Right on my collarbone.
I didn't.
So it reminds me, I'm like, okay, 1 day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do 10 billion things at once.
Don't you fucking hate that rule? I don't have the
Yeah.
patience for it, and I don't want to do it.
I also don't like the rule that can't solve things in violence. Don't like that rule all the time.
Yeah, there's lots of repercussions for that, and that sucks. Because there's definitely some people I'd like to hit over the head with a chair.
Yeah, I know. And you can't.
I can't do it, and I want to. Speaking of which, it's good to have you back on.
Thank you.
Yep,
It's been a little bit.
it's been a little bit. It's been a rough couple of months for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Seems that way.
Yep.
2024 is just playing a bull in a china shop right
I'm
now.
going to have to show you a video that I have on my phone.
Is it better than the one that you guys posted of me? You know that got put on
Yes.
TikTok?
Oh, I know.
I scrolled
like
by and
that.
I was like, oh, there it is.
It was funny because I was like, I'm going to make one of me and, so-and-so. And it was funny. And then everybody just started posting it. And I was
just
just
kept
like,
going.
this is just great.
Yeah, those were great fucking videos. Awesome.
I was laughing so hard I thought I was going to throw up. I was crying and I was gagging because I couldn't calm down. It's like I'm going to have an asthma attack over here.
I'm going to die. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up two things today.
Okay.
Two potentially relevant things.
Okay.
Such it seems. One thing that I've forgotten to bring up for so long. Somebody brought to my attention the huge difference that people choose to see in nature versus nurture. And shit gets wild here when you start talking about this. And I say shit gets wild because our country, we'll say the American culture, just use that as a whole, is completely and wildly different from, we'll say, like the Italian culture
Yeah.
as a whole. And when you start talking about nature versus nurture, like, for example, I think what he brought up was we hold dogs to this high standard because of what we see them as. Well, they do too, but it's food.
Yeah.
And out here, we see that as so wrong.
Yeah.
But that's just one small example. We'll keep it in the American culture because that's what we know. Well, I like to think we know. But
For the most part.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to put this in words because it's become like severely relevant that people can't always separate their survival instincts from their nurturing instincts. Like in the situations that we've seen in the recent weeks, rather than things getting taken care of in a good way and things getting taken care of where everybody comes out on top, people would just rather, walk on you to make sure that they look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or as another word, run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it seems like it's an inability that people have when they're feeling the need to be on top of things that they walk on other people. And it blows my mind because I feel like in my core I would try to avoid not looking good. That's not my concern. My concern is that at the end of the day everybody eats and everybody's okay.
Yeah. You're more of the nurturer.
But it definitely doesn't seem like that's in everybody's interest.
No, and it's not, because people will take advantage. To me, people will take advantage of things, and then once they get what they want, in a way, they kind of just bye.
Yeah.
They kind of just flake out,
Yeah.
and I can't say what goes on in their head when they do that, because I've been walked all over a lot. Because all I do is give.
Right.
Just like how you do. All I do is give. And it just seems like every single time I give, I get ruined in a lot of ways.
People, it feels, I mean, and the word for that is being taken for granted of, but
Yeah.
it's just mind-blowing to me that nobody can ever differentiate what they're doing and what they should be doing.
Exactly. I can't say that I've always been haven't ran from things and problems, and
There's no way that we're not guilty of this at least once
Yeah.
or twice. That's not what I'm saying. But when you start using your brain and thinking about what's happening, and being able to stop that process, I think is hugely important. And that discipline is what a lot of people lack.
I know. I definitely, in this moment right now, I feel like I just need to run. That's where, because it's flight or flight mode.
Yep, fight or flight, yeah.
Whatever, fight or flight.
That's
yeah.
a huge thing.
It is. And a lot of people can't, like you said, they can't put that and stay, and try to work things out. They put, they use their fight or flight mode, and they're just like, I'm going to go. When times get rough, when times get anything, and it's just I don't know. It frustrates me when people do that.
It frustrates me too. Another part of this, this is something I've been working on with myself, because I do recognize that people want to come out on top in almost any situation. Instead of letting people dictate how I'm going to react by writing whatever negative it is, it's not reacting. That's what you need to do, is you need to not react in that moment. And you need to let the truth write itself, because at the end of the day, and it's shown pretty fucking true in my case anyways, that the people who truly know who I am know that every bit of bullshit that they hear or that they hear about, stories or whatever the fuck it is, they know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing and ready to not react negatively and to not retaliate, and just let the truth fucking be the truth. And
yeah,
that's the hardest part, especially for somebody like me.
I have a really hard time doing that because of the fact that, like I said, people walk all over me, but it's also that nobody stands up for me. So it's just I have to sit there, and I think that I have to stand up for myself, because it hurts me to think that people are thinking of me in that way or looking at me in that way. I don't know. I know that not everybody's going to like me, I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. If you're better off without me, then so be it.
Right.
That makes me happy if you feel like you're better off without me. May hurt, but still, it's okay. But I have a hard time of doing that because, and I should say keeping my mouth shut, but I have a hard time because nobody ever stands up for me, and I feel like I need to stand up for myself all the time when things come out like that.
Yeah.
And it's just because people hear negative things, I'm like, that's not true.
Right.
And I'm like, tell them it's not true. And then I'm like, okay, you heard one side, you heard the other. You can pick which one you're going to believe, or, or be friends with both. It doesn't matter, or, or whatever the case is. You can be in the middle, or, you can decide which one you believe at the end of the day. So I do have a hard time with that one.
It's different for every single person, but some disciplines and some training, takes time.
Yeah. It's probably something I definitely need to work on.
I mean, we can all work on it.
Yeah.
I'm probably just speaking from a little bit more of a... there is an age gap between us.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a long fucking time to get here, I don't like it. Just so we're clear. I'm not
Yeah.
happy about it. I want to react and I want to say my fucking piece, but most of the time I just don't.
Yeah.
The true people in my life know what I'm about and know what I'm doing, and that's, I just have to remember that and accept that.
That's what matters.
Yep. Plus, it makes it kind of fun when you hear things about yourself that are so ridiculous that you're like, what the fuck did you come up with?
Where was your brain going with that?
How did you come up with that? Because nobody's going to believe that. But okay, we'll go with that. I like your story. So.
Me, I just get frustrated. And I get, like, I boil inside a little bit. I'm just like, really? You really want to talk about that? And it's hard because it's just like, okay, I can't say that I don't keep my mouth shut. There's been a lot of things that has happened where I'm just like, hush, hush about, like,
Yeah.
and I could ruin some people. And it's just like, no offense, but like, I feel like I'm a decent person to be able to come talk to because I don't really sit there and I don't talk to anybody.
Right.
If you tell me not to say anything, I'm not going to, because it's not, number one, it's not my place. And people don't understand that anymore. People don't understand when somebody comes to you about something that's private. People are like, oh, I'm just going to tell a whole bunch of people, like, and that's the thing.
It breaks
It's-
my heart when that shit happens.
yeah, and that's the thing is like you trust that person. You put all your trust into that person, and they turn around and they go do it.
Yeah. And that's what you said is exactly. There, I don't have to tell you that there's certain people that are gonna come to me and be like, well, what do you think about this, and this, and blah blah blah, and try and pry the drama out of me.
Yeah.
And typically, when that shit happens, when it comes to talking about other people, I tell them. I'm not saying
It's
fuck
not
it.
your place.
I'm not saying shit. It's
Yeah.
not my business to talk about.
I have really learned that over the years, especially in high school, because I used to be that person that used to be like, oh, did you hear about this? Like, and even like my close friends, I don't even really like say anything unless it's like absolutely I won't say anything unless it's absolutely needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like destroying that person or that person needs help, then yeah, I will say something because I'd rather see somebody safe than hurt.
Yeah,
at
that's
the end of the day.
I mean, that's a little bit different, but that's
Yeah.
true. That's very true.
That's the only time that I'll really like say anything about things like that.
God, this is gonna be hard to get down. Woo!
Put too much salt in it.
Monsterita. No, it's just the fact that it's so fucking monster.
Monsterita. You still have so many in there.
There's so many monsters in there. It's Monster, Sour Mix, and tequila, folks. If you like to party, then really get into her, but I decided to make a bunch of it. Oh, fuck. So,
Oh my.
yeah, that's what I get. Because I like to party.
But anyways, we got a little bit off the topic.
Yeah, a little bit. No, like I said, it takes discipline and choosing the path less traveled is something that takes a lot of fucking time to be able to do.
Yeah. I also think nowadays too, it's just like growing up with my like age, people don't know how to be adults.
No,
they
sure don't.
They don't. And I'm sorry, like I'm guilty of it too. Like I'm not perfect, but it's just people tend to run a lot, and it's just the fact, I don't know if it's how they were raised. They don't know how to stay when things, like when times get rough, they don't know how to be good. I've seen it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
And I've been like that. I used to be like that, and people used to say, Jessica, you're running from your problems. And I was just like, I had to take a step back and I had to look at myself in the mirror because I was done. Like when I first moved down here from Washington, I was with my roommate, and he told me, because things were getting rough where I was at, it was just a little bit like it was getting like frustrating to me. Like I just felt like I wasn't being heard or I wasn't being seen, and nothing. And that wasn't the case. It's just the communication wasn't there.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm just going to leave, this and that. And they're like, and he finally looked at me. He goes, stop running. Just stop.
So you would literally leave?
I would leave. Yeah. I would pack my stuff and leave.
Oh, shit.
Like, that's what I did. that's why I moved so many times as I have too,
Right.
because I ran. That's what I also ran from, you know, like, not to put this out there, but the more and more I think about it, and it's probably because of the stuff that has happened, you know, and I'm not very happy with myself ever going out to Washington, if you want my honest truth. And I've like thought, I've had to sit there and I've had to think about it. Yeah, there's some good memories up there, but that's like, I'm not happy with myself because I think about it as like, if I would have stayed where I was at and didn't burn my bridges, I would never have met any of you guys. So I'm grateful for all of this. Like, I have really good friends now. Like, I feel very, very, very grateful. Like,
That is something I will fucking double tap on, is what we have come across as far as this fucking group.
yeah.
And I don't know what the fuck happened in those 5 days while we were all out there together, but it's something. It's something to hold on to.
Well, yeah.
And I'm fucking so thankful because you and me both have been fucking hugely blessed by the whole fucking group.
I know.
So when you find a good group of fucking people in your life and they're willing to help you the way they have,
It's gonna make me. I'm like gonna tear up. Like,
I think about it
seriously.
like I literally think about it like once a day. I'm like, fuck, like this is all my good karma
No,
just
if I-
piling up right here.
If I didn't have you guys, I really wouldn't have anybody.
Yeah, no,
I
know.
wouldn't. That's why, like, I value everybody.
If you cry, I'm crying. Don't do this to
Okay,
me.
I'm sorry.
No,
I've
no.
been so emotional recently. It's okay. No, but it's just, I sit back and I look at it and I'm just like, I probably wouldn't be even in Phoenix,
Mhm.
number one. But number two, I'd probably be doing really good if I didn't burn my bridges the way that I did. Because I got frustrated, you know. At the end of the day, I'm just like, I think about it and I'm just like, shit, you know. I have a lot of regrets. But you only live once and you just kind of have to go with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of good things have come out of it, though, too.
It makes me feel like shit to talk about using the word like regrets.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you. I'm just like in general. I don't like. So many people emphasize on like, well, you made your choices. You know, everything happens for a reason. All that kind of shit can come out, but people don't like to use the word regret. But I agree with you.
Sometimes you do have regrets in your life,
I
though.
do. There's a lot of shit that I would change, and there's a lot of shit that I would redo.
You just think about them back. Like, you can just sit back and reflect on your life, and it's just like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
You know? And it's just...
I think for me, it's like a lot more of a knowing what you know now kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
And I'm not saying the whole Washington thing because I'm, like, angry about it or anything. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I just... Part of me, now looking back at it, I'm just like, why did I even do that?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was, like, and I can't say I didn't do it because I was trying to be a good person. That's why I did it.
Well, at the
because
time-
I was trying to help, you know?
Yeah. At the time, you definitely have your reasons
Yeah.
that are looking at the best things, but in the reality of the situation is running from stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I probably wouldn't be here either.
Yeah,
I would have fucking bounced by now. I'm fucking over all this bullshit.
I know. I'm really trying really hard to not just up and leave.
I think we're coming up on something a lot fucking better. I think things are only going to get better for all of us.
I really hope so because I feel like everybody has had a...
Yeah, it's been a pretty rough fucking stint.
Yeah.
No, I think all of us together collectively, we're coming up on some pretty good shit. So don't slow this train down yet. You're not allowed to fucking leave yet. It's gonna be a good time.
Can't leave to another state again. Just kidding.
She's like, I'm not gonna tell you where I'm going this time, but it's not Washington.
It'd honestly be probably Montana because that's where my family's at. But
No shit. We've probably already had this talk.
hmm
Where?
Missoula. They live outside of Missoula.
Have we had this talk?
Maybe not.
I don't know. It only sparks an interest because like one of my closest friends, he's from Montana. He's from Whitefish.
I love it out there.
I'm sure everybody does, and I'm sure
I
there's
love it out there.
I'm sure there's 1.5 million people after the TV show now.
Oh yeah, probably.
I think he told me after all that shit was said and done that the property up there went up like 3 times.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
because he's still like his dad's still out there and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Billings, but
Still, everything in Poly, Montana just spiked.
probably.
So.
But off track again. Awesome.
Yeah, it's okay.
Good for us.
ADD.
ADD, yeah. I do want to try more states, but I don't know when. Now's not the time. Especially now that I'm fucking rooted here with this thing.
Yes and no.
I mean, the hardest part about what I would have to do to keep it going is a lot more marketing and a lot more communication with people I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the whole list of all you people are the only reason that I'm able to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
So
Which is good.
it's great. Because I'm just trying to keep it going, keep it alive. But if I move to somewhere different, then I'm gonna really have to work on random people, which is a lot fucking harder. I'm getting tired of trying to convince people.
No, I bet.
Not like that. I'm not tired of trying to convince people. I'm physically like it's exhausting trying to convince people constantly to come on. Because people always get weary. They get like, well, what's it about? I don't know if I can talk about myself. I'm like, you can talk.
Yeah.
It's easy.
I mean, I was scared. I'm not even going to lie. The very first time I ever came on here.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared. I was super nervous. I shouldn't use the word scared.
You were skeptical.
Yeah, I really was. And then I tried it out and I was like, okay, I can do this. This is not bad.
Yeah.
If I was in an audience, though, it probably would be having a panic attack.
I mean, the scary thing is that you are.
Well, yeah, but like they're not standing. It's just you standing in front of me. It's not like a couple hundred people, or like 20. Even 20 people, I freak out. I'm just like, nope, I can't
That'd be
speak
fun.
in front of you.
That'd be fun. I'd have to get over the first
Let me
one.
just turn my back.
Yeah. Just like, I'm not looking at you, crowd.
Yeah, no. I couldn't. The mic would have to be handed to me while my back is turned. Or else no words are coming out.
I have this weird dream of always I want to perform at some point in my life. So we'll see. So I keep bitching about making music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I want to try. I want to do it. I don't know why.
Then do it.
I would love to. I just fucking need a little bit of help.
Okay.
Okay.
You have all the support you need.
Yeah, support isn't gonna help me compose.
It will.
That shit's not easy. I need like I don't know. It's like I'm missing just a piece of a spark. That's what I feel like. Like I'm missing a piece of information that I need. Like the last piece of the puzzle. And I don't know what that means. Yeah, it's complicated.
Are we all missing a piece?
It sucks.
Like a puzzle piece?
Oh, yeah, you're not fucking wrong.
Fucking.
It sucks because like as I get older, I'm like, time's going by. You're wasting time. But then again, I don't think it's ever too late.
No.
So.
No, it's not. It's just not the right timing yet. It'll
Yeah.
come to you when it's the right time.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, we say that.
Hopefully. Well, I shouldn't say hopefully because the difference between it happening and hopefully is me.
Just you.
Well, something else.
See?
That's that puzzle
It's the
piece.
jigsaw.
It's the jigsaw. Oh God.
We definitely got off track.
Yeah, a little bit. But to go back to nature versus nurture. I don't know if I'm completely on track to what that actually kind of goes for when I say like the nurturing side of people. See, I don't think I fully understand the true the true definition of what that actually means, because in my mind, nature is nurture. Like that's my nature.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should probably look into that one a little bit farther.
See, when I nurture, it's just like I nurture the people that are close to me. You know, like I give, like I said, I just give and I
Yeah.
give and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
give and I give, and then it's like I don't know when is enough because I want to help people. I want to be there for people. I want people to be able to come to me when things get rough. You know. Are you looking it up?
I am. You gonna see what the definition of this thing is? Nature refers to how genetics influence an individual's personality, whereas nurture refers to how their environment, including relationships and experiences, impacts their development.
So okay.
Interesting. I would not have fucking leaned on that at
Well,
all.
If you think about it, okay, so I come from a long line of women. A
Yeah.
very long line of women.
Do you?
Yes. So if you're like looking back on that, we
Age.
all have something in common. Like with our, each of our family members.
Oh, okay. This makes it a little bit more understandable for me.
So,
An age-old debate about whether or not genetics, which is nurture, plays a bigger role in determining a person's characteristics than lived experiences, which would be...
you messed it up. The first one was nature.
Did I?
Yeah.
Fuck. Second one's nurture.
Yes. So the genetics is nature.
And
then-
experiences are nurture.
Yep.
Fucking interesting.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, we were going in the right direction with it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That makes me want a lot more. I can see where it is, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd compare those two. That still almost doesn't make sense in my brain. I combine them. That's just
Yeah.
my brain wants to combine both of
Well,
them.
have you ever wondered like why you are the way that you are, and then you look at your parents, and then you look at your grandparents, or you look at certain things like that?
See, in that conversation, when I look at my parents, for some fucking reason, I took everything that my parents did for the short time that they were in my life, and for whatever fucking reason, I decided at some young age that I was just gonna be better than that.
Well, yeah, everybody wants to be better than that. Like that's how I was too.
But it was like a hard reset for me. Like, okay, I see that they've settled for this shit. That's something I'm never gonna be.
Yeah.
It's not like I took influence, because I didn't. I took everything that I learned from them, good and bad, and said, let's make it better. Nobody taught me how to do that. Where the fuck did that come from?
It's because you raised yourself. That's why.
I did, but
Yeah.
I didn't know what that better meant. I didn't know how to get to that better. So it's fucking wild to me that you talk about shit like this. That's super interesting.
Well, I've been told before by my family. They're like, "Well, that's just the way our family is, Jessica." And I'm just like, "But I don't want to be like that."
Yeah.
Like
Nope.
when I break down the way that I do, or freak out the way that I do, everybody's like, "It's just the way our family is. It's a genetics thing." And I'm just like, "How though?"
See-
It doesn't.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's like it doesn't make sense because I don't want to have to do that. You know what I mean?
When people say shit like that, because even sometimes my siblings will say it, and I'll tell them, like, well, it doesn't mean that I have to be that way.
Exactly.
That's not a good enough excuse for me to just accept it. Be like, oh, well, I'm just a piece of shit. I guess it runs in the family. Darn. No. That's where my mind goes is, okay, well, if that's how everybody else is and they're going to just settle for it, then you have the power to change it.
Yeah.
So let's change it now. So you have the same mindset.
Yeah, I do. Because I like you raised yourself, I raised myself for the most part.
Yeah, we're
for my
pretty
side.
close in that nature.
Yeah.
And as far as like the environment changing who you are, relationships and experiences, that's a fucking weird one for me too, because I can pinpoint what certain things have done to me without the ability to change those.
Well, yeah.
That
You can't change other people's.
no, I'm talking about what they've done to me, like to the way I feel,
Well,
to the way I react. But I haven't learned how to manipulate that yet.
Well, that's also because I feel like in every relationship or this and that, there's some type of struggle, there's some type of trauma, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
for the most part. And that just sticks with you. And that impacts you. People don't realize that, but no matter how much you push it down, I said it literally impacts you, and it alters the way you view things. It alters the way you think about things a little bit, because you're just like, is it me? Am I the issue? You know, like then you start second guessing yourself at that point. And it's like, or are they the issue? You know, because you now have trauma, and then when you go into your next relationship or whatever, it's like, am I going to have to feel this way again? Like it's
the craziest thing. Every single time I hear somebody say, I didn't realize how much it affected me.
Impacted, yeah.
I didn't realize how much it had an impact on me or affected me for so long. Because I hear that from, like, you could use any story that could cause trauma or mind altering, and I'm talking about, like, you know, soldiers, relationships, childbirth, child loss, fucking just anything. You know, people don't acknowledge the fact that it's going to impact them right away, because everybody just wants to say, I'll be fine, or I'll get over it. But the shit that truly sticks with you, you know?
Over here tearing up. You're good. Keep talking.
It just, and it's the same. It's the same thing for me, you know. I never, going through my 20s, my teens and my 20s, never would have admitted that not having my parents as young as I did was going to affect me the way that it did in my 30s.
Yeah.
And it's the same fucking thing. It's like, I didn't realize how big of an impact it fucking had on me.
Yeah, and yeah.
And now every time something shitty happens with a relationship, it's almost like I can feel it going away a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's just like, so my thing is like, when you leave a toxic relationship, and let's say, like, you find somebody and it is like the most amazing thing ever, your next relationship, or like even with a person, you leave a toxic person and you're like behind in your life, and then you welcome like new people, and like that is probably the hardest thing that you can do. The hardest thing is like leaving something so negative, because that's something that you're used to going to something so positive, and you don't know how to react properly.
No.
You don't know what to do.
Right.
Like, and then you either push them away, you lose them, these like positive people, you lose them because you are acting out because you're used to something so toxic, and you're used to having to act that way. Because that's how you were being treated.
What were you saying before we started? What something that you realized that you do?
I push people away.
Well, why?
I push people away because I want to see how much they can handle me. And like, it makes me cry, because and that's something I really have to work on, because I have lost a lot of people in my life. I have, you know, because I push people away, and I just see, I'm like, okay, like, let's see if they can actually put up with me, you know, because if you can't put up with me at my worst, you're not going to be able to put up with me at all.
One thing I realized about myself, and it's not just in like intimate relationships, it's in general, is I don't show a certain amount of, I'm going to use the word affection, and like I said, I'm not talking about like intimate relation. I'm talking about everything as a whole, because I can be affectionate to a guy friend too, you know, just on a personal level, I usually don't introduce that because I don't want people to get too close.
Yeah.
Because the difference between you and me here is that I don't want people to get too close because I don't want people to see the real side of me. Because that's usually what drives people away in my mind.
And I let people see the real side of me, and then they do run away. It's
Well,
just like...
I'll burn that bridge. I won't push them away, but I'll fucking burn that bridge. And
That's because you have a wall built up, though.
That's my biggest flaw is...
No, not meaning to call you out.
Oh, I don't. It's all right.
You do.
It's a huge
because
flaw.
it's not a flaw. It's a wall built up because that's what you do to protect yourself. You don't want... You're afraid that they're going to leave, too. That's why you don't show your, that side of you because you're afraid that they're going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you get too attached. If they get too attached,
I'm just used, whether it's my fault or not, I'm just used to people leaving.
So am I.
So I'll just stand there while the bridge is burning.
It's like a train.
While you're running that way on the bridge burning, I'm just gonna...
It's literally like a train. You're the conductor of the train.
Yeah.
And I'm the conductor of my own train.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna get off, and people are gonna hop on. It's back and forth. But you're always gonna have that very few people that are gonna end up sticking around. And I feel like over time, those people, you can see who those people are, and you can really let your wall down. And
I would honestly, admittedly say that this is probably the first time in my life where I feel like and that's why I was so adamant about saying that there's good things coming, because I'm like, this is the first time, and at this age, I kind of have a fucking handle on what I'm doing.
mm-hmm.
I have a handle on what I see. Mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air.
My saying is always hope for the best, but expect the worst.
That's everybody's saying. But
It tends to work. I still don't do it. I still don't listen. I still always hope for the best because that's just who I am. And then I just get my heart broken. But But
I got so used to just not hoping and just making. I have to rely in something like that. I'm gonna take that a step farther, because when you use the word hoping, when you say hope for the best, this something that we both had to do was learn how to survive on your own.
yeah,
So that means if you're gonna hope for something, then you just may as well just take care of it
by yourself.
by yourself.
That's
It's
why I
the
always
only
say.
way it's gonna get done the way you want it to get done is
Yep.
if you fucking do it yourself.
Yep.
And that's why I got so used to so long not asking for any fucking thing from anybody, because relying on people got me nothing.
But sometimes you can't do it by yourself.
That's so negative. I shouldn't have said it like that.
No, I know, but like sometimes you can't do it by yourself. And I understand exactly what you're saying because every time somebody's like, "What's wrong? Like, do you need help or anything?" I was like, I can't explain what I need help with right now.
Trust
Like,
me. Oh
I
my
can't.
God.
Well, literally right now, yeah, I can't explain what I need help with right now.
Yeah.
But just in general, people ask me all the time, "What do you need help with?" Because I know I have friends that help me, but it's so hard asking for help because everybody always expects something in return.
Yeah, it's the
And
hardest.
we've talked about that before on the podcast.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things I've had to accept to learn how to do, even recently, was to accept that shit.
But sometimes you don't want to do things by yourself, though.
I mean, that's just the only way I know. So I have to learn personally right now.
It's like I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out,
It's always I'll figure it out. There's never been an option. It's the only thing I know how to do is just figure it out.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, I'll figure it out. I don't know what it is,
But you'll figure it out.
but I'll figure it out. And I hate it, but it's got me this far.
I have been in some crappy situations, and I'm just like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And do I figure it out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time by myself.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, I think the times are changing a little bit. Things are shifting a little bit for both of us collectively. So
I agree.
yeah. So we both got to put in an effort to not let that fucking train run them over. That's why I'm trying so hard.
Maybe the train should run a few people over, okay?
Okay. There's a couple people. No.
I'm just kidding.
Have you noticed that I turned it up a little bit?
The volume?
Well, no.
Don't worry.
I've been trying to express myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I got you at one point in one of the podcasts, and you just really let loose. I was like, damn.
Yeah. There's parts of me inside that really want it and that really desire that. I just don't trust enough yet.
Well, you also need to be heard, too.
Sometimes. Sometimes I should stop talking.
Depends on what you say.
No, there's parts of me that want to be heard and that want to be felt and shit, but I think everybody has that, whether they admit it or not.
I feel like that's why I get so angry with people. It's because I feel like I am not heard, or, people aren't understanding how I feel. And it's like, well, of course they don't understand how I feel, because they're not me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a horrible overthinker. Horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I need to, I have to change. I have to think of something. I have to take something so negative. This is something I've learned to do with myself. So anybody out there who's an overthinker, take something that you're thinking of negative in that moment, and you need to think of something positive and be like, oh no, it's going to change. And I'm so bad about it, but I'm trying at least with that, And then like I said, I feel like all the time I'm unheard, so I just explode. I get so angry because it's just like I keep repeating myself to people, and I just snap. It doesn't matter who it is. I've done it to my sister. I've done it to my mom. I've done it to family members. And because I get so agitated, and it's just like, you're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm not being heard, because when I do talk, you just kind of brush it off, and you continue doing the same thing, or you continue to make comments, or this and that, and I noticed that about myself, and I need to work on not exploding. But I just get so built up, and everything just lets loose at once. And it's like bottling it up. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
You just put in more stuff in the bottle, and then all of a sudden the glass breaks. And it's everywhere.
Yeah, everything's scrambled.
Yep. And then you say things that you don't mean to say. It's just...
One of the things that's actually been popping up kind of in different ways in my life recently is just... The thought that people listen to reply. People listen to reply. That means they listen to make sure that they're hearing you so they can be defense, or so they can reply with an argument, or that they can reply in general. Don't listen to reply. Fucking listen to listen. You don't need to be on the defense all the time. People just need to listen to each other.
Yeah.
And don't listen to respond.
I'm really bad about
Listen
that.
to understand. And that doesn't mean just listen to the person you're talking to either. That means listen to your fucking self every now and again too.
Yeah.
Because some of the shit that we say, like you said, I need to learn how to not explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to learn how to not be such an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
It's true. And you listen to yourself. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand. And I feel like so many people fail themselves on that front. And if we just did that a little bit more, then maybe there would be a little bit more understanding of each other. And maybe we can get through these arguments and these circumstances just a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So
I'm guilty of that. I will say that. I definitely am guilty of that. Brings me back from December. I did something like that in December, and then, but sometimes with me, I explode, and I need a couple of hours to a day to cool off. It's not that I don't listen when people talk, but when it's targeting me, I do get defensive, and I do,
I mean, most people do.
Yeah, and it's just sometimes I do just need to listen and just be like, okay, I can work on that, But if you're just coming at me and you're yelling at me about everything, I'm going to get defensive,
That's the thing is,
if you just come about me and you talk to me about it, I'll just be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I never mean to hurt anybody on purpose. I don't think nobody does. There's some people, but I don't think me or you definitely don't. You don't ever mean to hurt somebody on purpose, and they think, I don't know. I've been told so many times, you're not listening. You're not. It's I am. I just need a day to process everything you just said to me.
Right.
That's why I don't go to bed angry. I try not to. But it's just sometimes I need that night, and then the next day I'll be okay. And I'll understand. I'll be like, I'll reflect on back the day before, and I'm just like, I shouldn't have said that. You know, I should have just shut up,
Yep.
kept my mouth shut, you know.
This is one of the biggest things for me is exactly what you're saying right now. Is sometimes without people being offensive, not offensive, but like being on the offense or being on the fucking on the forefront of a war when they talk to me, sometimes I do just need time to process, so I can let shit cool off. And just like you just said, is if you let me get through this process, then I bet you I'll have a fucking personal epiphany, and I'll be like, okay, I probably shouldn't have said it that way, or I should calm down, or whatever the fucking case
That's
may
literally
be.
me this past week. I'm just like, crap. I shouldn't have said some of the things that I said, and
But
you know, but
on the other side of that, I'll say it. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again: is when you force somebody into a situation that they don't want to have, when they're trying to tell you that we need to not have this conversation right now, or I need to cool down, or I need to walk away, whatever the fucking case may be, let that happen.
yeah,
Because if you don't, with me personally, I'm going to burn that bridge and I'm going to fucking walk away from it. And that's just because I don't want to be forced into a situation.
yeah.
So, I agree with you. If you, find yourself in a position where you need to cool down before you can respond.
I mean, it's just like, you
I don't
just look
feel-
at them and say, I'm sorry, I can't have this conversation right now. And if you don't respect that, then that's fine. But give me an hour or two and I'll come back to this conversation.
But if you force somebody into conversations they don't want to have, you're probably going to get answers you don't want.
I'm so guilty of not doing that.
This was not meant to come on here and give you life-altering advice.
I know. I'm just like, crap. But it's okay. That's a good thing because that's another thing is like we have talked about that before. Is like I understand what's wrong with me. I don't need people to sit there and tell me what's wrong with me. But sometimes hearing it from somebody like that's older than me, you know, that they're not like, oh no, this is what you need to do. You need to change.
Oh, yeah.
Blah 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 blah. You know, I've been told that a lot recently too. Like, you know, I'm just like sit there. I'm just like. May not be able to realize it, but I am changing, you know, like
Well, shit doesn't happen overnight.
I'm not the same person I was a year ago.
Right.
Not the same person I was 2 years ago or vice versa. I'm changing little by little, like, you know, and it's not also going to happen within 6 months.
No.
I'm sorry, but changing is not going to happen within 6 months. Sometimes changing takes processes. And with me is like something always pops up that I get set back. You know, I get set back and I'm just like, whoa. Like, you know, like I was working on myself, being myself, like my own priority. Then my mom passed away. And it's like,
Then life happens.
yeah, exactly. Then life happens and it's just like, okay, I'm no longer a priority for myself. You know, at this moment, I have things I have to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then that does set me back a little bit. And it's just like, I don't know.
I got to a point in my early 30s. For some reason, I had this weird urge to like just try to find as many of the people that I've irritated or pissed off over the years, and I just wanted to apologize for a lot of like the people in high school and shit. And not to say that I was a bully, but I just wanted to make sure I wanted to try to help people understand that I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
So, and that was, you know, you talk about it's not going to change in 6 months. No, that was fucking like 12 years ago at that point.
Yeah. And then you reflect on it and you're like, oh.
that shit stuck with me. The shit that was done to me stuck with me, and the shit that I did to people unknowingly stuck with me. And I got to a point where I finally made that change, and I said I'm gonna try and right some of the wrongs I did, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just acknowledging, like you said, that the shit doesn't change overnight.
No.
And these disciplines, I don't remember who said it or where the reference came from, but somebody said if you start your self-discipline with baby steps, just like fucking everything else, you know. And if it takes you remembering to make your bed in the morning, then start with that. And the self-discipline will just take you ways that you never thought you could be.
Yeah.
Just
My thing that frustrates me the most is people expect you to be able to change so quickly.
yeah. People expect it at the drop of a hat in the middle
Exactly.
of a conversation. And that's another part of where I started going with this nature versus nurture thing, because what I don't understand is why people are so brilliantly okay with being irrational in a fucking bad moment. People will choose irrationality over logic.
Because I feel like that's what they think is best for them. And it's just like, it's not that there's nothing. Sometimes you do have to choose what's best for you. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do have to think about other people around you. And people make irrational decisions right then and there because they're angry. You know, I'm guilty of that too. It's just, like I've said, I've up and left so many places because I've just been angry. And those are irrational decisions.
Yeah. I feel like I don't really, I try not to engage in heated arguments anymore. But I feel like the last couple ones that I have over the last 6 months to a year, like, they typically end with me going, what the fuck? Because the people just pull out all the stops and they'll throw something completely irrational and, like, inhumane that I can't even argue with. And I'm like, I don't even understand at this point how you just came up with that.
Yeah.
That's typically where I feel like I end up. And it blows my mind. But these are things that come in heated moments.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in heated moments...
When you get angry, do you say things that you don't mean? Like, say if you know the person. I'm just wondering if I'm the only one that does this. Just say you really know this person and you say something... Do you sit there and you say something that you know is going to get underneath their skin when you're just angry... just to see their reaction or get a reaction out of them?
No, I don't. But if there's a knife in a wound, then I'll push that motherfucker in farther.
Okay, so, that's what... Okay.
And I will emphasize on, you know, whatever negative I had, I'll push a little harder and more aggressively on that to help me burn my bridge. I don't necessarily... I mean, I guess you could take that as I say shit to get...
It's not that you're meaning to get underneath their skin. It's just you're in that moment, you're angry.
It's never my intention, but I get to a certain point where if you swing at me, I'm going to swing fucking back harder.
Yeah.
And that's just how it's going to be. And if you want to get offensive, then we'll get personal.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I'm just going to laugh in your face while I do it. I get evil. I'm telling you... When I make jokes about being Satan sometimes, I'm like, I get fucking evil sometimes.
I'm just reflecting on some of the stuff I've done. I've laughed in a few people's faces before. I'm just like, I've just snapped to the point. I'm just like, this is fucking funny. Like, you're just...
It's
in my brain, I'm like, you're stupid, but...
It's not my fucking character, and I'm sure it would really change the way a lot of you guys think about me if you ever saw it. But if I'm ever in somebody's face and I start digging, then the only thing that's gonna make it worse is if they swing at me physically.
Yeah.
And they usually don't, but I like to get real personal.
Yeah, no. And you wanna... I feel like...
It's so bad. I don't like doing that.
But what do you do? Like, you know these people, though, to be able to get personal with them like that, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that it's wrong, you know, to know these people. But you also observe. You're a very observant person. I've noticed that about you. You're like, when you're quiet, like what are you doing? You're listening. You're observing. It's just like when you talk and you're like, you made a comment a couple weekends ago at Margarita Monday.
What the fuck? Can I have that?
You better not be doing that
Yeah,
tonight.
I need to stop doing that now. But go ahead.
Crap, where was I going with
I
this?
said I made a comment at Margarita Monday.
Oh, and I was having a complete different conversation with somebody. And I turned around and said, what? And you're like, you're listening? Just like, yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But you do the same thing.
Mhm.
Like, you hear things.
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe in some things that you don't want to hear, but it's the type of person that you are, but you get to know more and more and more about people. And that's, you know, obviously me versus me, this is what you do, is to learn more about people and know how people's heads work.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't I don't know exactly what your question is, but I don't use the stuff that I observe
No.
as gas.
Okay. That's kind of what I was.
I just don't. It's not in my nature. The shit that I do is, if people are gonna show me one set of personalities, through one-on-one conversation or one-on-one interaction, that's the shit I'm gonna use.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna show me somebody that's not you, then I'm gonna go ahead and use that.
That's fair. That is fair.
It's not.
See?
I shouldn't be doing that shit.
I know, but going back to nature,
Yeah.
that's nature for you.
I feel like, in going back to what you were asking, I feel like it's a privilege that I've been able to discipline myself enough to observe and to listen, and to be able to do the things that I do here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a privilege, and I don't want to ever abuse that.
Well, no, I'm not saying that that's what you were going to do, like take it off, like,
Yeah.
things like that.
Well, I mean,
It just-
even in public, like when you're talking about how I just watch and listen, I feel like being able to just observe is a privilege, and it's a place that I hold close to me, especially like in our group,
Yeah.
because it's almost like you guys call me dad, and it's like it's become like a running joke.
It really has.
But it's almost like an innate, like, it helps me do what I need to do for everybody.
Yeah.
I can fucking protect more
Yeah.
if I'm paying attention to everything. So
It's instincts.
I think it's a lot of my survival instincts that are
Yeah.
just at play. They're just there. It's just
There's nothing wrong with that.
it's just fucking who I am. It's annoying.
I mean, yeah.
Sometimes when people are talking too much, certain people talk too much, I just want to tell them, like, shh,
Just kidding.
just dial it back for a minute.
I know. I'm like,
No, it's all right.
I do talk a lot though.
I have really weird tendencies. I have a lot of strange tendencies that I don't understand.
I think everybody does.
It's not you either. You don't talk nearly as much as some of the people in our group.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I talk a lot. That's why sometimes I'm even with myself. I'm just like, especially like when I drink, I'm just like, I just need to shut up now.
Keep it together.
Like when we were sitting out here the other night, I was just roasting everybody. I just couldn't help it. Or I was just making comments left and right. It's like, okay, I need to shut up now.
No,
Like,
we'll have a little bit more conversation off air. And I would say it to their face too, just so we're clear.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna say it on here.
yeah, no,
That's not fair.
no.
But anyway, it's about time we start talking about this margarita situation.
All right.
So,
What time is it? 5:12. Whoop whoop.
whoop. I think this was a good conversation. There's a lot of back and forth, and there's just kind of stuff that's close to home for me. So sorry for interjecting so much.
No, you're good.
But it's I think as you and I get to know each other a little bit better, we're gonna find more topics that are closer and closer, because that's becoming evident that you and I have a
Shit ton in common.
shit ton in common. So that'll be fun. It's fun to come across.
Yes.
So, is there anything you want to add before we close out?
Not this time.
Well,
Try to stay happy.
Try to stay happy.
Yeah. Just be happy. Look at the positive things, even if they're very little.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Just don't let the small dumb shit drag you down.
That too.
The world's not going to stop turning. Nothing's going to stop. There's no sense in stressing things you can't control. So be happy. Be happy and enjoy the little moments.
Amen.
That's all we got. So, if anybody can guess what's coming next, it's like, follow, subscribe. Go ahead and tag that follow button on Spotify, please. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or stabs, you can email us at meversusmeinfo@gmail.com, or on any of the platforms you listen on. I brought it up a couple of times, and I'm kind of curious to see if Spotify is transcripting in different languages yet. Super cool feature, and I still want to look into it. So if you guys can verify whether it is or it isn't, or it's coming or what, please let me know. I would love to hear about it. I'm super curious. So we love you.